Congresswoman, thanks for being with us here on the Hill. You got that letter from Leader Jeffries earlier today, just like the rest of your colleagues. He didn't come out and fully say, "I back Joe Biden. You should too." Are you disappointed he didn't?
No, Leader Jeffries is doing exactly what he's supposed to do, which is listening to all members of the caucus and then expressing all of those concerns and hopes to the president. That is what he said he was going to do. He said he was going to conduct a listening session. You know, we are a vibrant and diverse caucus with a lot of perspectives, and he delivered all of that information to President Joe Biden.
Do you feel like there's a 1, 2, 3 here, Congresswoman, as I sort of laid out there, Nancy Pelosi going on television, seemingly an audience of one, trying to speak to the president? George Clooney then puts out that op-ed. The Obama world is not denying at all that he knew about it. And then the leader comes out today and writes that letter without the endorsement. Is Democratic leadership letting you down?
No, I stand full behind Leader Jeffries, and we'll be working with him to make sure he becomes Speaker Jeffries. You know, these folks are doing what they're supposed to do, right? What I will say is that President Joe Biden has said that he is running. He has also said that he has a vice presidential candidate named Kamala Harris. She has said that Joe Biden is running. So these folks also have the president's phone number. They can be communicating this to him if they want to. I recognize that there is some pressure for him to make a decision, but newsflash, he's already made the decision. And so now he needs to continue to talk to the American people.
So the Congressional Black Caucus is standing firmly behind this president. There's some reporting out there that maybe that could change. Is that how you see it, Congresswoman? Is there a potential break from the president that you know of that could potentially happen in the upcoming days, or is that door fully shut?
So the Congressional Black Caucus had a meeting with the president, you know, in the evening. I think it was after 8 o'clock. He was on there with us for quite some time, and he shared with us his record, which we already know. 15 million jobs, 800 manufacturing jobs, cutting child poverty in half, you know, working to address our climate crisis, you know, supporting the nomination of Ketanji Brown Jackson. The list goes on and on. Also making sure that we are shoring up these agencies that are doing things that help and protect the American people who deserve federal protection. So we are standing behind this man because he is the president, and he said he is running for re-election again.
But some Democrats aren't, as you obviously know. Jim Himes, for example, who is the top Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee. That is a very big job. Here's what he said on the strongest candidate. He said, "I no longer believe that is Joe Biden, and I hope, as he is throughout a lifetime of public service, he will continue to put our nation first and, as he promised, make way for a new generation of leaders." I spoke on this show, Congresswoman, the other day with Adam Smith, who's the top Democrat on the House Armed Services Committee, and here's what he told me.
I think right now, as I said, he's more than capable of doing the job. If you ask my honest opinion, given his health, do I think he can serve out the full 4 years? No, I really don't. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I'm not measuring that.
You know, these are two big leaders within the party, Congresswoman. The head of a committee that oversees our nation's military, the head of a committee that oversees our nation's intelligence, and they have basically said that the president needs to step aside. Let me leave you with this. Do you trust their judgment?
Well, I sit on Foreign Affairs. I am not a ranking member, but I, you know, just last week had a meeting with almost a dozen ambassadors. Just came back from Brazil, where I met with a dozen countries and participated in some of the NATO events. And I can tell you that all of the countries that I met with are deeply concerned about a Trump presidency. They have talked about their hope that Joe Biden will win this election, and they have talked about what United States means for them and their region. China and Russia encroaching on democracies, working to replace democracies with rogue regimes, and the pressures that they are economically and politically putting on fragile democracies around the world. Joe Biden actually knows what NATO is, unlike Donald Trump, and he knows that there is a job to do. So coming from a member who sits on Foreign Affairs, you know, I can tell you that the international community, which was also listening to the NATO press conference, deeply wants Joe Biden to remain and to run for presidency again.
Thank you for watching, and make sure you go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below.
to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.